How you doing? I'm Lee. I'm with Corghi USA, and today we're going to show you the installation, calibration, and the operation of the ET1450 Truckline balancer. This balancer is in a very small, compact footprint that can be placed in any fleet operation, including those that work the automotive side. So with that being said, we're going to show you the setup procedure. You would want to remove the cardboard box from the pallet that it comes on and remove all of the packing material and all of the straps. Then you'll take the box with the accessories and unpack them. You will have your wheel caliper here. You'll have your truck cone for doing 22.5, 24.5s, and 26s. You'll have your calibration weights, a wheel weight brush, the hammer, your Allen wrench for installing the shaft, and then your wing nut. And with that set, you'll see that we've already pre-mounted the back hub spacer for doing the truck cones, but that will be part of your kit as well. It simply slides onto the hub and uses two Allen head bolts, thumb screws, that you can screw in here to keep this secure. All right, and now we're going to take a look on the left side of the machine. Here's your manufacturing tag that has the serial number. That's very important if you ever need service. 3 letters and 6 numbers. This is your serial number that you would contact Corghi USA to let them know who you are, where you're at, what machine you have, and when you bought it. Back here is your regulator assembly. You would attach your airline with your fittings that you use. You can pop the regulator up and adjust it to get the maximum pressure. Must be over 120 psi, and then lock that back down. After you have the machine in place, you have a stabilizer leg that's right here, and it has a locking nut on the bottom. You simply want to make sure that the machine is relatively level. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you would screw this down to stabilize it, and then secure it with the nut up underneath. Your power cord is right here. You simply plug that in here and then into a 110 volt outlet. And then your power button you would turn on to get the machine powered. Alright, we're going to install our shaft assembly, so we'll grab this and come over to our hub and shaft. First thing I'm going to do is screw this in as much as I can, and there's a lot more threads to it than you think. And then take your Allen wrench and secure it the rest of the way. You'll see that there's no more than about a 1/16 to a 32nd of an inch. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to torque it down to make sure it's secure. We're now going to mount our wheel assembly. Once it's stabilized on the lift, you have a lift lever to bring it up to the center of the hole, and then a handle that'll allow you to move this in. You'll grab your cone assembly. Centering that up. Push the cone, center it up using the lift or just manipulating the cone in there to make sure it's vertical and stable, and the cone's all the way in. Then take your wing nut and secure it Before you get it super tight, it's always good practice to take the wheel weight lift down and check your wheel. You want to make sure that it's vertical. You're not cockeyed or unangled with your cone. And it's secure. Now we're going to show you the buttons on the 9250. We have a fine mode indicator, truck mode indicator, car, hidden weight for your automotive mode, operator 1 or 2, tire optimization, calibration, standby mode, your weight indications, and then also the weight placement indicators. And then our 3 boxes for our 3 dimensions we'll show you in just a minute. Number 1 is your truck or car mode. Make sure it's in the truck mode. If I tap it, it tells me the truck is on. If I want to change it, I double tap it and it switches to car mode. If I accidentally touch it again, it's okay. It shows me I'm in car mode. It stays in car mode. In order to go to the truck mode, you'll have to double tap. Escape is to go back, get out, start over. Number 3 does 2 functions. It's minus for the menu. It goes counterclockwise through the menu selections. But primarily it's used for the weight placement. We're in clip-on weight mode on the spoke on the inside of the wheel. And here we can change it to the tape so that it goes into the tape mode. So you can sit there and alternate between the 2. This is your menu button. I'm going to skip over that for a minute. We're going to show you the plus side. It works the same ways. It will rotate clockwise through your menu selections. And it also will alternate between 3 different weight positions. You have your clip-on weight. You have your tape-on weight that's outside the spoke. Tape weight outside the spoke. Be careful, nobody uses that. And then you have your tape weight that would go behind the spoke. In order to do static mode, you want this tape weight mode to be on by itself. In order to do that, you typically would be in the dynamic mode. You'll need to move this down to the inside tape weight position and then turn this light off. Right now in this mode, I cannot turn the left side off. It only alternates between the 2. In order to activate it, to get that light to go off, I'm going to move my clip weight down to my tape inside. Once I have that selected, now I can come over to the minus button in the left side weight and I can turn that off and put it into static mode. Now we're going to show you the dimensions button. You need 3 dimensions. You need your width, your diameter, and your distance. In order to manually input this, if it's not put in electronically with our smart arm, you would hit this button. It shows our width. And in this case, I would pull this out. It measures 9. So I would put my plus button to take it up to 9 inches. I can go minus to go down, plus to go up. Once I have my width in place, I hit the manual dimension button. It brings up my width. And in this case, I have a 22.5. So I will hold that down until I get to 22.5. Now my distance. Distance is measured with a ruler. When you pull this out, I can look down and it indicates 80. I can put that number in here. You see the smart arm is actually calculating it, and I measured 80. Once we have those 3 dimensions in place, I can hit my escape key to get me back to the lines. It's not necessary to do that. And we're ready to go on to the menu function. All right, and of course, one last thing, we have the stop button to stop the spinning of the wheel. Our menu button, when I push this, is select function. I can scroll forward. I can scroll backwards. I scroll forward. This is tire optimization that we're going to show you in just a minute. It's more or less match mounting the wheel 180 degrees. Operator 1, I can hit enter to go to operator 2, that's highlighted, showing the two people, the two technicians. And I can go back to operator 1. So if somebody's doing 22.5s and the other person's doing 19.5s, and you don't want to put the dimensions in for each wheel each time, you can simply go to operator 1 or operator 2. Then we hit our plus button to advance. The spin tells the cycles. I can hit enter. Total spins on this machine is 390. 6 spins since calibration. And 1 partial spin today. Once you go into this spin, and you have to get back out, go back into your menu button, and then scroll past optimization, operator, spin cycle, setup. We go into setup, we're going to hit enter, the menu button to go into it. And here we have our unbalance is in ounces. I can hit the menu button to change that to grams or ounces. Depending on what I select, when I go to my next screen, my ounces are rounding it to the nearest 1 ounce. I can change that to a ½ ounce. Typically in 22.5s, we're going to 1 ounce. Now, when I'm in this position, I can scroll back, and if I wanted to change that into grams, and then hit my plus button to move forward, I can do grams in 50 or in 10 gram selections. But of course, we're using ounces. I'm going to go back to my unbalance in grams and change that to ounces. And then I'm going to move forward, change this back to 1 ounce. And then I'm going to go forward. Tire optimization, you can do on or off for it to highlight for you. If this indicator lights up, it tells you you should match mount the wheel 180 degrees out. But typically I won't use this function, because if it's calling for 6 ounces and 8 ounces or it's some excessive value, you already should know to break it down, spin it 180, and you may or may not want to use this, but it is an indicator when you have an excessive amount of weight. So we will leave it on just as a reminder, but I can turn it off. That's your preference. We go to the next one. You see that our diameter is in inches. I can change it to millimeters. We're going to leave it in inches. Our width is in inches, not in millimeters. We want to make sure that that is in inches. We hit the plus button. The beep, I can increase the loudness or turn it off. I can make it quiet. 2, typically 3 is the loudest, and that's what we want to hear in a noisy shop environment. Aluminum mode for stick-on weights. We can use the laser at the bottom at 6 o'clock, or you can put it on at 12 o'clock. Some people that have been balancing for a long time just put all weights at 12 o'clock, but we recommend using the laser. It's easier to press down on your weights, your tape weights, and also it lights up the inside of the wheel. DSP4 is your display. As I keep hitting this, it gets brighter and brighter. Then it goes to the dimness, goes back to 1. Typically we'll set it on 4 or 5. App on and off. These functions are for the service centers. that we don't want to go into detail, but in the app mode, you want it on. FSP, you want 1P. Test, you want 10. If you hit enter and mess these numbers up, simply go back through your menu button and hit 10. LED is the brightness of the LED light. We can turn it on 1 or 2, or that's the light for the inside of the wheel, or we can turn it off. Typically in a dark environment, we want to leave that on 2. Laser on or off. If you're using the laser mode, you'll want that on. If it's off, simply turn it on. We're back to our unbalanced ounces. We're done with the setup mode. We can get out of that. I'm going to go back into the menu, select function, plus, that's tire optimization you would do for the 180 out. Operator 1, 2, 3. Spin, how many spins you did. Setup, if I hit enter, we go through that menu I just went through. We'll continue this time and go to our unbalanced calibration that we're going to show you in just a minute for the sensitivity that should be done before you balance any truck wheels. The internal arm calibration is for the service centers. Please do not get into that function. And then we're back to our main menu. So next, we're going to show you the unbalanced calibration. All right, we're in our unbalanced calibration mode. Again, if you're not on this screen or you want to get to it, you can simply hit the escape button. You're here. We'll choose our menu button and then we'll advance it until it states unbalanced calibration. Now, in order to do an unbalanced calibration, or the times that you would do an unbalanced calibration, is if you start chasing weights on the machine on a repeated basis, or you move the machine from one shop to another shop or one building to another building, but typically just moving it around in the area you're in or even bumping it or knocking it will not throw a Corghi balancer out of calibration. In order to do this, we're going to do 3 spins. I'm going to hit enter to, it's going to say Cal Go. We'll spin the wheel by itself. We'll put a weight on the left, then we'll put a weight on the right for the 3rd spin, and that will complete our sensitivity check. In order to get the machine to rotate on a truck wheel, we have 2 steps. You're going to hold the button on the left, and then you're going to push and hold the button on the right, and it's going to start spinning, and you're not going to release this until you hear the beep. Now it says calibration. I'm going to rotate my wheel to the left side when all highlights. Once you have that highlighted, we're going to take our 7-ounce calibration weight. We're going to put it directly at 12 o'clock, making sure that you're centered over the shaft. I'm going to hold my button on the left, and then I'm going to push and hold the 2 buttons together, the one in the front, and I'm going to hold it until I get a beep. Then I release both buttons at the same time. Now you see the cal indication is on the left, so I'm going to remove my weight from this side, and I'm going to advance my indicator to the right side, which should be about the same position, and I'm going to place that on at 12 o'clock. Push and hold your button on the left, push and hold your button on the right. It'll say Cal Go. The wheel will spin. You're going to hold it until it beeps. I'm going to release. We're going to spin again. Hold. Release. We're going to do our final spin, pushing and holding both buttons until I hear the beep. Once you've completed that step, it says end calibration, and now your machine has been calibrated and it's confirmed with the 3 beeps. All right, now we're going to show you the basic functions for balancing a wheel and tire. We'll move our smart arm out. It activates the LED light, and we're going to pull that out into the edge of the lip, and we're going to put the distance arm back into the position, into the detent position. It shows our width is 9, and our manual dimensions, we have a 22.5, and our distance is 76. And now we're going to spin the wheel. So I'm gonna push in the button on the left, push and hold the button on the right, and we are going to spin and release when you hear the beep. In this case, it's indicated that 0 ounces are needed on the left and we need 2 ounces on the right. So I'm gonna find my 2 ounce weight, and I'm gonna rotate until all triangle indicators are highlighted and I get a detent beep. And I'm going to place my weight at 12 o'clock. We'll do our check spin. Release, and you can see that we're at 0 and you're good to go. For the tape weight mode, I'm going to remove my 2 ounce weight here. And we're going to move this down into the tape weight position here with a clip-on weight. So this would be for an aluminum wheel where it's okay to clip on the inside, but we're going to do a tape weight on the inside lip of the wheel. We will do our spin by pushing and holding the button on the left and then pushing and holding the button in the front until we get our beep. Once I release that, it's calling for 3 ounces. It's a little more weight than what we had before because we're moving the weight inside. We're going to highlight that. And then you would simply take your 3 ounce tape weights, make sure that you center it 50-50, even if you have to split it down the middle, and then do your check spin. This is how you operate the ET1450. For more information, you can go to corghiusa.us and search in the products manuals, the service manuals, where you'll find the operator manuals and more information about the operational characteristics of the ET1450. Thank you.